So the main point of why you're here, why garden with kids? Why is it important? Why is it something that you would ever want to do? Well, first of all, gardening encourages the kids' innate sense of exploration and inquisitiveness. I mean, you go outside, and I don't know, my little nephews and nieces, we go down the street, and we can barely get a block without saying, look at that, see that, what is that, what's that, why is that, you know, everything. And gardening is really a great way to encourage those questioning. Gardening also teaches kids to be stewards of the land. And these are a couple of our Green Youth Farm participants and the cabbages that they grew. And before they came to this project, these kids they didn't even have a yard. So for them to grow something like that and to be able to eat it, cook with it was really important. And I think people suffer from a kind of plant blindness. If you're not a gardener, I'm assuming everyone in here is a gardener. People who aren't gardeners, sometimes they don't notice when the trees are in bloom sometimes, you know, or what goes on when, or it's just kind of a sea of green to people who haven't really taken a closer look at it and really observed. And so gardening really kind of helps to cure some of that plant blindness for kids. Also, gardening helps buffer stress. Believe it or not, studies have shown that children with high levels of nearby nature were less impacted by life stress than those without. Also, children who have more nature around them are less apt to suffer from ailments like ADHD. Just somehow nature just has this calming effect. I don't know if any one of you notices that if you have an opportunity during your day to get outside and take a walk or just sit on a bench outside, you come back feeling totally centered and ready to finish the rest of your day. I know, I feel very lucky to work at the Chicago Botanic Garden because even when we're not out gardening on site, we have an opportunity, my coworker and I will take an opportunity to go and walk the grounds if we're having a particularly stressful day or we're having a really good day, and it's just so amazing. So, I mean, if you're a kid, which school would you rather be at? You know, this one with the blank grass, or this one where there's a nice seating circle with daisies and flowers, and I mean, it's pretty obvious to me which one I would pick. The other reason that gardening with kids is important is that gardening encourages all types of learners. Not everybody, does anyone, you know, you've heard about the four or five different types of learners, the auditory learners who learn best by getting things spoken to them, the visual learners who want to see a map or a drawing, the kinetic learners who want to get out there and do it. Do we have any kinetic learners in here? I know I am. I go crazy sitting at a desk all day in my working with a computer or reading. I need to get out there at least for part of my day and be doing something. And what we found is that when we're working with schools and with kids in the classroom, a lot of times there's kids who at the end of the workday will say, oh my gosh, Joe did a really great job. He really showed leadership skills in the garden. He must be a really excellent student in the classroom. And more times than none, we'll get the response from the teacher, actually, in the classroom, Joe is really distracted. He's really not enjoying learning as much as we think he should be. And so this really gives all kinds of learners a chance to shine. And just a chance to play. I mean, look at these kids. They're planting bulbs. And it never fails. If you give kids like a set of plants and say, okay, go plant these plants, never fails. Right in a line, right? Right down the row. And so these kids, we said, okay, how can we get them to do a more naturalistic kind of planting? So we lined them up on the side of the bed, and we gave them their trowels, and we said, okay, everyone, nobody look at the bed. No one look at it, and stand with your heels on the side of the bed, and we're just going to toss. Everyone has a bulb. You're just going to toss it over your shoulder, and wherever it lands, find a bulb. It doesn't have to be yours. Plant it exactly where it landed. And they were like, that just threw them for a loop. It's like, what? Well, mine is really close to this one. It's okay. Do it. Just try it. And the next year, it looked so beautiful. And it was kind of a chance for them to think differently about things.